Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa and you are watching the Exploring Oracle, or the Exploracle for short. So if you're new to this channel, what we usually do here is I feature a tarot or oracle deck and we talk about the card stock, how it shuffles, and then I show you a flip through of all of the cards, and at the end you would also choose one to read. So for today we have this fun deck called the Star Wars Affirmation Cards. 52 ways to discover your inner Jedi. Now, I was debating whether I would keep this deck and show it on May the 4th, but I was excited to share it. That's what the size of the box looks like. These are the samples of all of the cards. They are categorized and I'll talk about it later. The heroes of Star Wars share lessons, advice, and inspiration in this collection of motivational cards and a companion guidebook. Each card will spark meaningful conversations, prompt positive thoughts, and help build self-esteem, and encourage kids to be kind to themselves and others. So this was published by Insight Editions. Really? I'm surprised because I didn't know that they made this deck until now. But I've actually been using this deck for a couple of months now. So inside you have this small guidebook. So there's not a lot. Basically it just talks a little about the card and has additional meanings. It does the cards themselves, or the images in the cards themselves, do span all of the original trilogy, the prequel, as well as the Disney sequels. So I don't know if you actually like the prequels or the sequels, but I think it's still one of my favorite series and movies. So I actually really do love this deck. So there are 4 types of cards. You have guidance cards, activity cards, inspiration cards, and affirmations. So I just shuffle them all together, but basically it's just a different type of message for each card. Oh, I don't know why I shuffled but I wanted to show you how it compares to a standard tarot card. It is quite big. So that is how it compares. It's much taller and wider. It is matte. Cardstock is a little thin, but it does snap back really well. It's quite flexible, so I have no issues shuffling this deck, even though it is a huge deck. Now I showed you in comparison the Tarot of the Holy Spectrum because it's much easier to see the comparison with a plain black back. Alright, so let's just zoom in and take a look at all of these cards. Okay, so this is what the cards look like. So you have an image of the movie. It takes up more than half of the card. You have a quote from the movie and then an additional blurb or additional information at the bottom. Now, aesthetically, it's not my favorite. But I do really like the quotes, and I do really like the movies, and I felt that I would enjoy this deck. And there is a lot of wisdom in the Star Wars movies, in the Star Wars universe. So whatever your thoughts are on the more recent versions or stories of Star Wars, I think you can still enjoy this deck. And if you're a fan, or if you're just interested, or if you're just looking for a new deck to add to your collection, and this calls to you. Oh, I remember this scene. I was quite surprised by it. So like an activity card would just tell you the activity that you can do. The affirmation just has that sample of the affirmation at the bottom. So again, this is an activity card, the purple ones. And then you have your guidance cards. And there are repeat characters. So Yoda shows up 2 or 3 times in this deck. And then my favorite ones are the inspiration cards because it has a line from the movie. And it just makes me think about that particular scene. And I remember how much I really love Star Wars. Poe. So for the affirmations, it's written in a way that I appreciate. I don't resonate a lot with other affirmation decks that are written a certain way. Let's say but yeah, it's hard to explain. But this deck, I really like how it's written, how it's categorized. It's just aesthetically, I think they could have done better. It kind of looks a little cheesy to me, to be honest, but I do like it for what it is. I love Donnie Yen. Jabba the Hutt. Oh, BB-8. So yeah, if you can't tell, I am a big fan of Star Wars. I would have to say the movies because I haven't really read the books. But yeah, it was, when I was a kid, my parents made us watch. We were able to watch the original Star Wars because my parents loved it, and I don't know. It's just something that I truly enjoyed. I love Han Solo. I love Princess Leia. She is awesome. Luke. And Darth Vader, of course. But yeah, so this deck really appeals to the geeky side of me. And also gives a lot of wisdom that I wouldn't automatically think of when unless I pick a card. So it's really, for me, an interesting deck. And if you're a fan of Star Wars, you might consider picking this up too. I am enough. I might feel small right now, but size matters not. What really counts is the difference I make in the world around me. Obi. It's like I'm pausing a little bit because I'm reading it again, but I have been using this for a few months already. So that's why it's out of order. But yeah, it's just a fun deck. There's really not much thought that I have to put into this. When I just pull a card and I get my message and my thoughts for it's not something that I journal deep thoughts with, but it's just that something that I pick when I'm looking for something light, something straight to the point, something fun. Leia, Commander Organa. Rey, I'm not even sure. My thoughts on the movie aside, this deck and the quotes they use, the scenes they chose, I think it's well thought of. I think it's made by somebody who also likes, or at the very least likes, Star Wars, so they have an understanding of the characters. So I do appreciate that, and I don't see anything like this. Oh, I didn't zoom out. Let's just shuffle the cards. So since they are bigger cards, I do like to shuffle it that way because I can't get my hand around them. But it shuffles really well. You can get a decent mix, or you can just drop them. Overhand, it has to be this way. And okay, so let's have a message for the collective. What Star Wars wisdom? Oops. Do we need today? I am fearless. Even in the face of insurmountable odds, I never back down. My strength of spirit will see me through the toughest of challenges. So let's see what it says in the guidebook for this card. Okay, so the funny thing about this deck, and what I didn't notice actually, is that if it doesn't have a number at the corner of the card, there is no entry in the guidebook. Now, I seldom use the guidebook for this deck because it is like an affirmation deck. It's I just take my message as it is. But yeah, so this is the first time I noticed that. But I don't really think that you need to work with a guidebook. Now, I do love working with guidebooks, but in this case, I don't use it as much. Maybe it's because the nature of an affirmation deck is you just get your card and go. So I never really thought of getting additional information from the guidebook. But so this is the affirmation, and I believe this is Jin Erso from Rogue One. And if you watch the movie, then you will know why this is the appropriate quote for her. Let's try and pick. Okay, let's pick one. This is one of really touching scenes from, I think it's the Phantom Menace. I forgot. I forgot the title of the movies. This is in the prequels. This is the story of young Anakin leaving to Padres, I believe. So it says here, you can't stop change any more than you can stop the suns from setting. Change is a natural part of life that cannot be avoided. It's what helps you learn and grow. And there is a number at the corner which takes you to the page, and it just says, change can be scary, whether you're going to a new school or traveling to a distant planet. What big changes have you experienced in life, and how did you feel about them at the time? How do you think they helped you grow? So I do think this deck is geared a little towards the younger crowd, but I personally enjoy it. It's just a fun deck. I got this from Amazon. It was an affordable deck. It is mass market, so you can check it out if you're interested. I just thought to share because it's an interesting deck. I don't see it a lot, and it also appeals to my Star Wars loving geek heart. And if it resonates with you, then I do suggest you check this deck out. So this is the Star Wars Affirmation Cards. I hope you find this video helpful, and if you do, please click on the like button and do consider subscribing to my channel where I post videos like this at least once a week. See you again next time. Bye!